find her. I'd managed to keep her real in my mind, not just a famous name, not just a historical enigma, as Leonard Nimoy called her on some silly TV show. Always a person, a friend, someone I missed, with that bittersweet kind of longing you feel more and more the older you get. Old age is a combination, after all, of hard and soft, a senile sundae of cynicism and sentimentality, with much of your time spent reading, both aloud and silently, from a laundry list of bastards and sweethearts you spent a lifetime compiling. And not all of the sweethearts were women, and not all of the bastards were men. My wife, my second wife, the marriage that took, and I had not given up our home in suburban Chicago yet. I was telling people I was semi-retired from the A1 detective agency, lying to myself that I was still in charge. I was still in charge like a brain-dead billionaire on life support is still in charge of his finances. But at age 64, with 65 a few months away, I didn't need to work. My one-room agency in Barney Ross's old building on the corner of Van Buren and Plymouth, established in 1932, had turned into suites of offices in 6 cities now, not to mention 2 floors of the Monadnock building. I wasn't the president of the A1 anymore, but chairman of the board. We no longer did divorce work. Our specialties were anti-industrial espionage and security consultation. I'd become so successful, I didn't recognize my own business. So when the Texan came calling, I was still kidding myself that I was only wintering in Florida. We had a nice little rambling 3-bedroom ranch style on a waterway where we could sit and watch boats glide by, first in one direction, then the other, sometimes chased by water skiers, some of whom were pretty young girls. We could have had an oceanfront place, giving my tired old randy eyes even more ready access to sweet young things in skimpy bathing suits, but the villa available shared a wall with a next-door neighbor. Maybe that was a villa in Florida. In Chicago, we called it a goddamn duplex. Our life in Boca Raton was fairly simple. I rarely played golf, though we had country club privileges. Our house was part of a neighborhood association, because golf was a social pastime I had put up with for business purposes. I've always had better things to do than hit a little ball with a stick and chase the ball and then hit it with a stick again. Nor did I go fishing. I'd caught plenty of big fish in my time, but not the aquatic kind. Fishing, it seemed to me, existed solely to provide the world with a more boring pastime than golf. My wife loved to garden, and I loved to watch her bending over in ours. She had a green thumb, and a great ass for an old gal. I told you I was a randy old bastard. Or is that sweetheart? Anyway, my days were spent in a lawn chair, watching the boats go by, sipping rum and coke, reading, occasionally accompanying my wife shopping, just as she would more than occasionally accompany me to the track. Evenings, it was often cards, bridge club with my wife, poker with my buddies, retired cops mostly. Since I'd only smoked during the war and was a mild drinker, my health was excellent, save for the sporadic aches and pains, never quite escalating into arthritis or bursitis, that a son of a bitch with as many healed-over bullet and knife wounds, even a machete scar, as I have, ought to expect after a lifetime of merriment. I had also started to write the memoirs, of which this is the latest installment. But I had not yet come to the realization that writing those memoirs would become my salvation. That a man who had lived a life as eventful as mine, who was no longer of an age where that eventful life could be further pursued, could find, if not meaning, relief from the malaise of old age in reliving that life. Besides, I had a fat advance from a publisher. So I was noodling on a yellow pad when the Texan strolled up, blotting out the sun like an eclipse with a potbelly. "You're Nate Heller, aren't you?" With that drawl, only the word pardoner was missing. "I'm Nate Heller," I said, and I was, even if I was Nate Heller in sunglasses, a Hawaiian print shirt, chino shorts, and sandals. No trench coat or fedora, despite the goofy pictures I'd posed for Life magazine 100 years ago. Private Eye to the Stars, they called me. We'd opened up our Los Angeles office by then. Anyway, the Texan. He was as big as a Texan. He wore a multicolor Hawaiian